Dak trolls were out again yesterday. The one I'm not even playing was Greg Jennings, the former Packers and Vikings receiver. This is from Craig Carton. FS1 used to be on WFAN. This guy was number one multiple times for WFAN.
He was number one in the morning and in the afternoon.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was also in Cell Block 1, so that's interesting.
He was.
This is Craig Carton with Greg Jennings and his panel yesterday morning talking about Dak Prescott and other quarterbacks in the league. Get out your pen and paper.
I think it allows us to ask a question that you're not going to want to ask in Dallas right now, but let's just have it out. How many teams right now today, and forget about money and all that stuff that comes with it, just for the sake of the conversation, how many NFL franchises would trade their quarterback straight up for Dak Prescott right now without blinking? I got two, Atlanta and New England. Can you name another one? Right now, no, not even, forget about anything else. I'll take Dak instead of my guy. How many guys would do it?
I would do it.
Who would you say?
Commanders. I don't know if Commanders.
Washington? Okay, I can accept Washington. Go ahead.
I would take Vegas. I'm a Raider fan. I'd rather have Dak than I'd rather have Jimmy G.
Jimmy Garoppolo?
Yes, I would.
I think it's debatable. I don't think it's a guarantee.
Tampa.
So we had 4 teams, maybe a fifth.
Mm-hmm. I mean, but the point that you're making, I'm with you.
Yeah.
Like, there's not many, and that's a problem when you're being paid the way that Dak Prescott is being paid.
Okay, here we go. So we look at this train.
He's so angry. He is seething. He went to adjust his headset. His hand was shaking. Now I don't know if it's the C4.
Yeah, I'm dumbfounded.
Probably not, because they don't use too many bad there. But you were shaking.
Atlanta, New England, Washington, and Carton said Vegas was debatable.
Now remember, this is the qualifier. It's not
it's not who's necessarily. There's two ways to look at this. It's not who's necessarily better right now. It's like starting with like the Texans.
It's like you would 100% trade their situation for yours.
No, it's not even that. He literally took money out of the equation.
Yeah, no, forget. Money doesn't. No. So it's like. So you have to say, you wouldn't say Minnesota can't be on the list, because whether you agree, an argument can be made that Kirk's better than Dak. You can make the argument.
I need cars.
So they have to be eliminated, right? So it has to be Dak is no doubt better, and there's no upside with the quarterback. Like, you would not do it in Houston or Carolina.
Let me hear it.
An upside.
Let me hear it again with the qualifier in the beginning for the argument.
The qualifier kills it for me.
All right, let's hear it.
I think it allows us to ask a question that you're not going to want to ask in Dallas right now, but let's just have it out. How many teams right now today, and forget about money and all that stuff that comes with it, just for the sake of the conversation, how many NFL franchises would trade their quarterback straight up for Dak Prescott right now without blinking?
All right, that's it.
Without blinking, right?
Without money. So let's just go through the teams, and then we'll start our argument after Bobby gives his initial rebuttal.
I mean, the guy's just a moron.
Which
one? Craig Carton is a moron. This is the thing that I said last night on Twitter. No, I wouldn't. No,
yes, I would trade being a moron for $6 million a year.
I wouldn't. I got to be careful with what I say here. No, I would not trade places with Craig Carton ever. The issue here is over the last month, it has the hot takes about Dak Prescott have degraded to just flat out lies. Like, the people are just flat out lying now, and they're disingenuine, and they realize that this is their ticket to attention. I mean, we're sitting here talking about it. We're talking about them, throwing this out there, but this is I don't even think you can say with certainty Houston would. Like I think that Houston absolutely would swap, knowing what Dak is for what C.J. Stroud might be. I think that's wrong. I think they absolutely would take that swap. If money's out of the equation, I think they would.
Well, because here's the question. Dak has zero chance of being the best quarterback in the NFL.
Right.
C.J. Stroud has
a 1% chance.
No, he does not. He has a 0% chance.
It's okay, but it's higher than Dak's.
No, it's not.
Because it is. It has to be.
No, because Mahomes is going to be in the league during pretty much the duration of C.J. Stroud's time.
Then he has a chance of being the second best quarterback in the league.
Dak can play like the second best quarterback in the league.
Dak will never be the second best quarterback in the NFL.
Okay, all right.
We know that. He will never be better than Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow's been in the league for a half a minute, and he's accomplished more in 2 years than Dak has his entire career.
Bobby,
which is what, 5-6 years, according to Jerry?
All he's doing is making the argument of the unknown. He's not trying to insult
Yeah,
Dak.
it's just
he
the unknown.
is.
We have to allow. We have to allow for the unknown.
You have to.
You have
the
to.
upside and the
Okay,
unknown.
but also to assume that like we've seen the pinnacle of Dak Prescott at 30 years old is ridiculous when most quarterbacks play their best into their 30s.
You're wrong in this aspect of it, but let's go through the teams. Let's see how many we can write down. They wrote down 3 and maybe the Raiders. Buffalo would not trade.
No.
If I was Miami, I would trade.
I would trade if I was Miami.
Miami's on my list. Dak Prescott's better than Tua.
But-
and by the way, before we go through all these, to Craig Carton, every single executive in every offseason poll, in every list this offseason, everyone had him 9 or 10. So every single person in the league basically has said that Dak is better than 20 other quarterbacks, and these fools put out 3.
Yeah. So
Keep that in mind.
I think Dak's better than Tua.
Okay.
The upside of Tua, I would not make that trade.
Okay, I would. I don't believe in Tua. You do. And I am interested to.
There's no telling if Tua's going to play more than 2 years.
Exactly. He may play 12, though, and because he was, for that short stretch last year, he was fantastic. So for that reason, I'm a big upside guy.
We all know New England would take Dak.
Dak is better, and the McCookie Monster, I think, has no chance.
Cookie Monster?
McCookie Monster.
Who's that?
Mac.
Oh,
So,
McCookie
like, his wife,
McCorkle?
his girlfriend made him, like, a dozen cookies a night, and he was trying to put weight on, so he kept eating them.
I would not trade for again, how long is this? If it was for 1 year, I would not trade Aaron Rodgers for Dak. Bobby would. That's part of our show bet. Moving forward the next 5 years, you'd rather have Dak Prescott because Aaron's not going to play. I'll keep the Jets off the list. Lamar.
No, I mean, there's
Do
enough.
do they want to trade? Would they trade? No. I would, but they wouldn't.
The problem is if there's any debate, even 1% debate, you can't put them on the list.
Okay, so Cincinnati, no. Cleveland.
There's enough there.
There's enough of a debate.
I think Cleveland, with the lack of heat from Dak compared to Deshaun, knowing what they're getting, and there's still a question about Deshaun, I think Cleveland would trade right now.
Yeah, but they're talking about ability.
But Cleveland took – I know, but you still have to take into, like, trading places. He said take out the money and stuff like that. But in terms of the heat of having Deshaun Watson on your team and not even knowing for sure what he is still.
I'm not writing down Cleveland on mine. Pittsburgh – yeah, but your reasoning for it's wrong based upon the discussion.
Okay, no, because we do not know where Deshaun Watson's back to yet. Because people have said he's been
fine. If you want to make it
he
that
looked
you
bad last year.
He did. If you want to make it that Deshaun Watson doesn't belong in a Dak Prescott discussion, that's fine. So write down Cleveland on your list.
Sidebar: these guys are animals.
Let's get video of this.
There's a dude. He's got a fire hose. He's pulling his giant tire.
They are working. Junk Drawer is also coming up here on 105.3 The Fan. All right, so this is Craig Carton and his crew at FS1 saying 3.5 teams would trade their quarterbacks for Dak, and that's it. Pittsburgh, I'm trading. I don't think Kenny Pickett is good.
I agree. History shows guys, I mean, I hate to say it because I don't believe in measurements, but history shows guys with small hands don't make it.
Sorry, Sean.
Texans.
I wouldn't because of the upside, and I wouldn't with Indianapolis either. Just there's the unknown. Not even the upside, just I don't know.
Right. Okay. I'll agree with you on both of those. Jacksonville would not.
No.
Jacksonville wouldn't. I still think Houston would. I don't know if Indianapolis would, but I think Houston would.
Why would Indianapolis not?
Because Indianapolis is really buying into Anthony Richardson. They really like him.
Anthony Richardson has the lowest floor and the highest ceiling of any of them. He's the only one in this draft class. He has a chance of being Pat Mahomes.
The Titans would.
The Titans, I believe, would.
Right?
I believe the Titans.
Did they draft someone I don't know
well,
about?
Will Levis.
Will Levis and Malik Willis the last 2 years.
I haven't heard glowing things about Will Levis coming out of that. To me, Tennessee would.
I agree.
So they're number 4. Denver should and would. We agree?
Yep.
I agree, yeah.
Denver would. Kansas City would not. The Raiders would. I'm going to put the Raiders on my list.
McDaniels would.
Yes, he would.
Just because of his history with Jimmy. But, I mean, I think he would. Mm-hmm. But I can't say because it's not
I'm putting the Raiders.
I can't say
I'm
no,
putting the Raiders down because, every single one of these lists, not one of us said Garoppolo over Dak in the offseason. The Chargers would not. Over to the NFC East. Oh, God, this is my fight with Giants fans. Would the Giants trade Daniel Jones for Dak Prescott, everything equal?
Yes.
I think so. I think so.
I hope so.
I hope they would.
I'm putting the New York Giants down. Philly would not. Washington would. Chicago would.
No, they would not. There's not a chance.
Yeah, there is a chance.
Justin Fields. I mean,
it's a debate. I think they would ultimately trade for Dak, but like it's not. It's not a slam dunk.
There was Fields off-season trade talks, and by midway point this year, 3/4 way, we will be talking about a new quarterback for the Chicago Bears.
Woo!
This whole thing will be over and done with. Don't fall for the hype of the media.
It's not the hype of the media. The media is morons.
Peyton, market for receipts.
That's
a take I love.
It's not even a hot take.
No, I think that's
it's
a hot
an easy
take.
take.
It's just they're looking for a new quarterback.
They will. Okay.
You're going to look super smart if you nail this. Like I'm not buying into the hype, but I think
the Chicago Bears will be under 500, and he still will not be able to throw. And I thank him for running for my fantasy team. But Choppy, go ahead, finish your point.
Now there's one major thing going against him. No quarterback. Quarterbacks who do not hit their second season win total over under almost exclusively do not get a second contract. The only two that have, Herbert and Dak. And the only reason was because their second year win total was like 10. And that was just too high. Every other one of them, no second contract. And Fields qualifies in that. But I do not believe they would because of one thing, and that is, again, the upside. If he hits and he turns into what people think he is, I mean, he is leapfrogging Dak Prescott.
Okay, they're on my list. The Lions, would the Lions trade Goff for Dak?
Yes, they would. Are you kidding? Especially Dan Campbell's mentality. He would love a Dak Prescott personality type.
There's zero chance. Goff had a better year last year than Dak did. He's had a better career than Dak has. Not even close.
Woo!
He has. I mean, he's won more games, been in more playoffs. He's advanced.
Why didn't no one put him? Why did no one put him higher up on the list? And you didn't object when he was not put lower than Dak on these lists. You didn't object.
I don't object to it. I think he is better. He had a better year. He's had a better
you're
career.
talking like it's a no-brainer.
Oh, it's not a no-brainer. It's just it's a subjective measure. But
you surprised none of these lists put Goff? Not one put.
No, I'm not
over
surprised.
him?
I'm not surprised. There's always. I mean, he has to fight the narrative. The narrative was that he only won because of Sean McVay. That's the narrative.
Yes.
And he proved that he did that. That was false last year, and he'll probably prove it again this year. And he'll still never get the credit.
What would the Packers do?
Because what are they doing now? It's Ben Johnson, man. It's all Ben.
Who's that?
The OC.
Jordan Love has made some impressive throws in preseason. I've been impressed, but I still think the Packers would trade. I think they would trade the unknown for the known, but I don't know.
No,
I could leave this one up in the air.
I think they would. They didn't want to get rid of Aaron Rodgers. They weren't ready to usher in Jordan Love. It kind of just got to that point.
I think they would trade.
You think they would?
I think they would. We're I don't know. It doesn't feel like there's as much unknown with him, even though he's barely ever played.
Yeah, total unknown. Vikings
are trading.
I think
is there anyone in a middle ground argument that you're going to go against, that you're going to vote against, or are you just going to do your whole?
Because again,
it's not a whole like it is like this isn't a shtick. Like I don't understand. Like if we're having this discussion and you want to talk about these teams, it does come down to who is better and who gives you the most upside.
And the situation.
That's right. Like
the money.
I still think Dak is better than Trevor Lawrence at this point. But Trevor Lawrence has a higher upside that I don't think Jacksonville will trade. I think Dak's better than Lamar Jackson. I don't think Baltimore's making that trade. But I do think Minnesota would absolutely trade Kirk Cousins for Dak.
If this is how I'm doing it, if there's a discussion in the room where they're actually debating it, the answer is no. It's not whether they would trade him or not.
I don't think they're debating
without
Cousins.
Debate. Undebatably, trade yes. Like, it's like it's like the Hall of Fame. Is Tom Brady a Hall of Famer?
Yes.
There's nobody will even consider a counter.
Right.
That's the answer. So that's how many teams there are. There could be no counter.
All right.
There'll be a counter. There'll be some counter in the Minnesota.
The criteria has been established. Atlanta would trade, especially according to Xavier Howard. Carolina would not.
Carolina probably would not. I'll put them down as would not.
You just want to eat during the rest of the segment?
Yeah.
Okay. Eat. We're not on.
Tampa for sure.
Tampa for sure. New Orleans?
Yeah.
New Orleans is trading.
Yeah, I think they would.
All right, and then finally, Arizona. Ooh.
I would say no.
The only thing I would say is all the Kyler problems.
There would be too much of a discussion in the room. Yeah.
Like Kyler's more talented than Dak, but he's total opposite in all the bad ways. What do you think?
There's too much buzz just about the fact that they're willing to trade Kyler for the opportunity at Caleb Williams right now. And so the fact that they're already kind of thinking about a future without him potentially would make me say they would probably trade.
All right, and then the Rams would trade. They're already trying to get rid of Stafford. San Francisco. Interesting. I just want to see what y'all would say to that.
I mean, I think they would. They've got a nothing quarterback as it is. He may or may not have an elbow.
I think they would over Lance and over Purdy.
I think they probably would, but I also don't know if, like, Shanahan views it as, I need somebody who does exactly what, like, Shanahan is so system-oriented that he may just be like, I just need the best fit for my system. I don't need the best talent.
And then, finally, we have Seattle, and yes, they would.
I believe they would. We're not talking about upside with Geno.
So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17 teams that would trade their quarterback situation for Dak Prescott and Peyton play what Craig Carton and these fools said on television yesterday.
Blinken. I think it allows us to ask a question that you're not going to want to ask in Dallas right now, but let's just have it out. How many teams right now today, and forget about money and all that stuff that comes with it, just for the sake of the conversation, how many NFL franchises would trade their quarterback straight up for Dak Prescott right now without blinking? I got 2, Atlanta and New England. Can you name another one? Right now, no, not even. Forget about anything else. I'll take Dak instead of my guy. How many guys would do it?
I would do it.
Who would you say?
Commanders. I don't know if Commanders.
Washington? Okay, I can accept Washington. Go ahead.
I would take Vegas. I'm a Raiders fan. I'd rather have Dak than I'd rather have Jimmy G.
Jimmy Garoppolo?
Yes, I would.
I think it's debatable. I don't think it's a guarantee.
Tampa.
All right, so we're at 4 teams, maybe a 5th.
Mm-hmm. I mean, but the point that you're making, I'm with you.
Yeah.
Like, there's not many, and that's a problem when you're being paid the way that Dak Prescott's being paid.
It's pretty amazing, man. $5 million. $5 million, millions of dollars. Number 1, WFAN in New York. I'll never understand it. 3.5 teams, and we have 17. Someone's really, really right. Someone's really, really wrong.
It's in the middle.
It's
probably 11.
That's garbage.
If we were in another city, we'd probably say there's 11.
I mean, I think it's more than 17. And
there's a media guy in Baltimore who thinks the same thing about Dak that you think about Lamar.
Sure,
Yes.
and I said Baltimore wouldn't make the trade, and even with the way I think about him, I don't think they make the trade.
But
so it's not about my criteria or anything else. I don't think.
But Atlanta's not arguing. New England's not arguing. Washington is not arguing. Vegas might argue.
Yeah, it's
Tampa Bay is not arguing. Nope. New Orleans might argue. The Rams shouldn't argue. You can argue
agree.
like
I don't think they would.
Okay, San Francisco, Miami would argue. Tennessee shouldn't argue.
Right.
Washington, I already said them. Detroit would argue. Green Bay would argue. Chicago would argue. The Giants would probably argue.
They should.
Pittsburgh might. New England would not. Denver would not. So that's like 5, 6 possibilities. So 17 minus 6. You said 11.
So it's and that's fine. Like and the haters.
It's not 3 though.
A Philadelphia fan, a Giants fan would say 3 or 4.
Yeah.
And a Cowboy fan would say 20, or 17 to 25.
Yeah.
And it's just Bobby would say 30.
No, I wouldn't say 30. I'd say 23. That's the number that I came up with.
If you ain't got no haters, you ain't popular.
I love it.
I love getting him riled.
So easy.